So over the last couple of weeks, you've seen us place a couple of outlets, add in a few corrugated pipes that will pass the electrical wires through. But today we have our electrician with us and we are working our way through the design, going room by room, changing a few things, adding a few things as well, as it tends to happen. But it's time to finally move forward and get this house electrified, first by placing the tubes, and then later on, after we finish the walls, we'll add the wires and get this house hooked up. This right here is going to be the heart of the upstairs. All of our corrugated lines are going to run up into this box right here. It'll act as a junction box for the entire upstairs. All right, so we spent the last couple of hours marking everything out, and what's left now is to actually dig out the channels and place the tubes. So I need to come through and clip the bottom of the metal channel, as well as cut down channels in the insulation, dig them out in order to place the corrugated tubes that we will then later pass wires through. So forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but if you've missed a previous explanation in a previous video, the reason we're passing these corrugated pipes and not actual electrical lines is because we will actually run the electrical lines after the in-floor heating is poured, after your floor is covered up in concrete, essentially. It's not exactly concrete, but basically concrete. It's definitely a much different system than what we would have done in America. Normally we would have passed the electrical wires, now the actual wires themselves, and not really had any of these corrugated pipes being run. And I'm not sure which I prefer, because in that system you can at least test out the system prior to pouring the floor, because if you forget anything now, it's too late, basically. But with this system, if you ever want to change wires out in the future, if you need to change things a little bit, I'm not really sure why you need to do that, you at least have that opportunity here. But that does mean with this system, you end up with a lot of corrugated piping in the floor. Every single corrugated pipe runs to an individual outlet and then runs back to this junction box here. We have to be especially careful up on the second floor here, because we don't have a lot of space to work with. Our in-floor heating has to be really, really slim. And of course, we can't really run in-floor heating over top of the pipes very well. At least I don't think we can. We'll see what we're able to do here. But we do have to group all of this piping as tightly as possible together, because you end up with a lot of corrugated pipes. Hey, we've talked about this, guys. This is not a safe place for you. Listen, if you would just eat the grass, you could stay. But the fact that you just eat trash and climb all over the roof and get inside the house means you can't be here. Listen, guys, come on. You can't be here. Come on, go on. I swear, if they put a hoof through that new window. These goats belong to our neighbor. I like goats. Sure, when they eat the grass. These two, there's something wrong with them. They don't like to eat grass. They like to come and eat our supplies and our trash and climb on the roof and walk through our concrete. And they have been a bit of a nuisance, and you cannot scare them away. You scare them away, and 5 minutes later they come back into the house and bother you all day long. You gotta love this beautiful chaos of all of the plumbing and electrical going in, all of this chaos going on. And you can quite clearly see why we have to raise this floor up. We're gonna raise this floor up by quite a bit in order to cover all of this. So yeah, there is gonna be a step from the outside hallway up into the bathroom, but there was no other way to do it. And I think now it's rather obvious why. So we have to cut open into that wall in order to put in our centralina. I hate that. I hate that when I learn Italian words in construction, that they just stick in my brain and I can't think of. I know all of you are yelling at me what it is. Our electrical panel. That's what it's called. In order to install the electrical panel, they don't just install one electrical panel like we do in the United States, and I'm assuming in other parts of the world. I think we're installing close to 4. So we have one main one with 72 modules, as they call them. Then we have one that's a 24 module, specifically for all of our solar panel setup. And then they do 2 large junction boxes that are basically the size of a small electrical panel that you would put in an apartment or something. And even with a house this small, with new electrical regulations and the new way of doing electrical, it takes so much space that it's gonna take up about a 3-foot section, nearly floor to ceiling, in order to run all of the electrical work there. And I cannot even imagine what a larger home would look like and the chaos that would be with the electrical work. It's funny because there's so little left of the original wall that we built between making all of those large openings for the plumber and now the electrician. I would say there's certainly less than 50% of the actual wall remaining. This beautiful chaos here is really starting to grow on me, all of this mess here. To me, it just spells out progress, and I just could not be more thrilled to be at this stage and things moving along so fast. The plumbing team is back for their final day before we close up the floor. And you do your best to not overlap trades and have electricians working on top of plumbers. But today is just one of those days, as I've been telling the guys, it's bellissimo chaos. It's beautiful chaos. It's it's everyone working together and getting in each other's way and just moving forward and getting the job done. And not just do we have the electrician team here and the plumbing team here, but Andrea is coming back to finish the excavation. If you remember last week, we started to dig out the canal, which we will be running the sewer and all of the electrical lines and gas and a few other things. And he hit a massive layer of concrete and unfortunately couldn't continue because his jackhammer was on another job several hours away. So that kind of stopped everything. Well, today he's able to come back and finish up. So it's just gonna be a beautiful, chaotic day. Good morning.
Good morning.
Or good afternoon. Hey, is that my lunch?
Wow, it's not afternoon yet. Oh my goodness.
Thanks for bringing me lunch. Sorry.
How am I supposed to get through?
Well,
yikes.
He didn't exactly leave it in the best spot.
Well.
The goats are back.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, those goats. They're trying to take over our home.
So we have a beautifully chaotic day for you to witness.
Yay.
Plumbers, electrician, excavators, and goats.
Oh my goodness. Did you have any issues figuring out where to put everything, or?
Well, I think we figured it out. We had a design that we worked on for quite a while that the boss signed off on, and I did change probably half a dozen things last minute today. I'm not sure if you'll notice. I think they're better, but I
trust you.
It's a lot. It's fun to be able to walk through the space and kind of envision it as the finished living space and kind of place everything out. There's a lot that you have to decide, both from a on the surface functional standpoint, like where do you need plugs, where do you need a light switch, But then there's a whole other layer of things that we wouldn't think about that are necessary to make the system actually work themselves. And it's that layer that I'm worried that I'm going to forget something, because once you close it all up, it's not very easy to add anything else. So I'm trying my best to double check everything, but they're also juggling a lot today.
What's that for?
That is...
It looks like an octopus or something.
A quarter of the tubes that we have in the end. There is some...
What?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So not got any... That is a lot of
It's a big box.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this entire wall is basically dedicated to the electrician.
That's a lot.
Yep.
That's a lot. That's crazy. You don't think about all of the things that go into making a house function.
Well, yeah, look at all the boxes behind you. This entire room is full
It's all just like tubes and
materials
stuff?
and boxes. And we've actually installed probably a third of it already. And then there's another half room of materials upstairs. And all of this is for plumbing and electric.
It's crazy.
Just taking a quick break to remind you guys of the importance of protecting your data online. We've been using Delete Me to protect all of our family's data, and I'm very happy to have them as today's video sponsor. The way Delete Me works is they will go out there and find potentially hundreds of data brokers who have your personal information, things like your name, your phone number, your email address, your physical address, even pictures, and then they will go to work on your behalf having all of that information removed, and then they will continue to monitor these sites, repeating removals when needed. When you sign up, you'll get a privacy report within 7 days showing where your information is public, and then they'll get to work having your information removed. A few days ago, I received my third privacy report from Delete Me, and as I was scrolling through, it's astonishing how much of my personal information is out there being packaged up and sold around. And to date, they've already removed 292 listings where my personal information was public. It's a little crazy to me that in the world that we live in, there are so many data brokers out there scouring the internet, looking through social media sites, government websites, collecting vast amounts of your personal data, including your physical address, your phone number, even social security number. And then they'll package all of that information and spread it around and even sell it to whoever might want your data, including scammers. Right now, if you also want to join Delete Me, you can get 20% off by going to joindeleteme.com/Voyagers or by using the coupon code Voyagers. So go ahead, take control of your personal information, and thanks so much to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. 60, sì?
60 da 60 tutto di qua.
Ok, va bene. Andrea, una domanda. Quanta è l'altezza per questi presi in...
Io ho fatto 105. 105. Allora dipende quanto è alto il mobile.
Il mobile è sempre 90 o quanto è?
90?
Penso 90. Più o meno 90.
90. Io ho fatto 105 tutto su, dunque
Ok.
era 115 qua. No, 125.
125.
125 facciamo 120.
Carmelo, questo piano alza 20, sì? Sì, sicuro 20.
Sì, ragazzi, 120.
125, ok? Perfetto. Grazie. Trying to balance everything. We've got to remember the height of the final sink. This is our sink area here. We need to put a countertop here and then add plugs either side of it. But remembering how high that is, plus adding all of the space because we're raising the floor up by quite a lot and just don't want to mess something up. We also have a lot of action going on behind the house where we're going to be keeping our heat pump. We are currently passing along a lot of tubes, running them along the ground We'll cover them up later. You won't see anything after the fact, but right now it's a little bit chaotic. So all of these tubes, oh, I hit my head, ouch. All of these tubes out of copper are for our heat pump. Not a lot of space to show you, but we're going to sit our heat pump right here, and then we need to run these copper pipes through the various holes that we've made in the back of the house that run into the different rooms. These pipes here are for the air conditioning, and then we need to run one pipe kind of underground through the mountain, which I made that hole earlier, in order to come into our utility room. That will be for heating the hot water and the in-floor heating. Everything is being shared by one unit. It's a pretty sophisticated system. Originally, I thought we had to have multiple units out here, but our plumber and our technician found an amazing solution that really just used one very quiet system outside for everything.
Hi Bradey, it's okay.
Molto bene. So it was suggested to me to use metal studs in framing this house, which I agreed because of the humidity. I had never used it before. I was fascinated by it, wanted to try it. There are some things that I like about it, some things that are better. But one thing that's not better is look at this. I don't know if you can see that on camera. Let me try again. Can't tell if you can see that, but the entire wall flexes by several inches. The reason why is because of how the metal studs are built. They only have 3 sides to them. They only have 3 sides because then you can stack them and you can carry 20 studs at a time rather than just a handful of wooden studs. But if I can show you, it then allows the stud to distort and twist and bend. If they were closed on all 4 sides, it wouldn't do that. So one interesting solution that I've come up with to make this wall a lot more rigid, and to clarify, it will become significantly more rigid once you put up the drywall. We have one layer of drywall here. Once you add the other side of drywall, it would be a lot stiffer, but drywall in and of itself is not meant to flex at all. Otherwise it'll crack and break and you'll have nails and screws popping. So it's just not good enough for me. I'm gonna mount a few extra metal studs sideways, the wrong way. The reason why is this side is the side you're supposed to mount to, and that's where you're able to get all of the flex. If you mount the drywall to the back side, which you're not supposed to mount to, there is no flex this direction. It's not possible to flex. So my thought is if I add 2, 3, 4 of these studs the wrong direction, the height of the wall, and I don't just screw them in, but I foam them in as well, which is much stronger than screws, it should stop the majority of this wall flex.
Something that makes us complete when we finally see. Here with the sun on our backs, and it's all we need.
Oh my goodness. I just made the dumbest mistake I've made on this entire build. Oh. Okay, the wall is much better. It is, I'd say, 50% better, and the rest of the drywall will fix it, but that's irrelevant compared to the mistake I just made. Now I have to embarrassingly go admit my mistake to the plumbing team and see if they can fix it. I don't even have the Italian words to express what I just did. Ok, Antonio,
Dimmi.
guarda, questo muro è brutta, guarda, sì, brutta.
Ok.
Pensato, monta 2 o 3 più di questi, è più forte, è vero. Un po' più forte,
Sì.
un qui. Io monto là con dietri.
Ok.
E un troppo basso. E penso, ma no. Penso.
Preso tubo.
Sì, penso che sì. Penso.
Pensi bene?
Sì, penso. Sì, certo, è vero. Mi dispiace. Questo.
Enzo!
Yeah, meglio Enzo, non Carmelo.
No,
meglio Enzo.
Sì. Carmelo crazy. Ah! Ok. 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 No, allora, va bene adesso.
Meglio adesso, ma
Sì.
mi dispiace.
No, ma che? Ok. Così pieno.
Yeah, I just drilled a hole in their pipe. That I can't believe I did that. Thankfully, it's the hot water for the shower, which if we have to replace, it's not a big deal. At first, I thought it was the main hookup, which is a 30-meter pipe, which we don't even have that much pipe left over to replace. But oh my goodness. There it is, right there. Admit to your mistakes. Okay. All right, so we've got the dream team here handling the dumb homeowner's mistake. I cannot believe I did that. It's so close to the end, they could possibly cut it out and scoot it out, but everything here is run so tight. They're trying. I don't think we can stretch it far enough. We're probably just gonna have to swap it out. Grazie. Mi dispiace. Well, Andrea, the excavator operator, arrived just in time because I needed a distraction to shake off that mistake and get back to work. Finito. Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Andrea is just a master at what he does. I've never seen anyone as gifted at operating an excavator as he is. But we've managed to work our way through that ridiculously over-engineered piece of concrete slab, which I think I explained in the last video, but in case you missed it, that was poured, I don't even know, 10 years ago when they redid the roof, the previous owners. The engineer for that project said they needed something again, ridiculously over-engineered to hold the crane. And we've managed to remove all of it in order to pass all of the sewer lines, the electrical lines, water, more, landscape lighting, all of that good stuff in the future. Now Andrea has switched to his bucket and we will finish clearing everything out. Well, once again, this rain just won't give us a break. And now we have a proper moat. We just finished digging this out, and of course now it's just pouring down rain. And 100% of the water that hits the roof is now running into the canal because we had to remove the downspouts. And now 100% of the water for the entire area of the roof and the surrounding area is running into this canal that we dug, creating a proper moat. All right, well, unfortunately I put the camera down and missed the better half of the second half of today as the rain started pouring. We have a proper moat going on the outside of the house with that channel we dug. But let me catch you up. We have all of our tubes in the bedroom here kind of running into what will be a distribution box here, and we'll have that mess of tubes coming out. This guy will be hidden behind our bed, so you won't be able to see that. And everything else runs along here. We've added in these tubes to run to the roof someday to pick up the energy from the solar panels. The bathroom is currently looking like a proper mess. As I'm starting to close up this wall now that everything is in here, I can properly go back and insulate everything. There's still a few electrical lines to run, and I've been spray painting everything. The team is gone for the day. It's well past working hours. The sun's about to set. I needed to stay at least a couple hours after dark tonight to get everything prepped because there's still a few electrical lines to run. There's a lot of insulation work left to do, a lot of taping, a lot of foaming and all of that. And I'm gonna put the camera down so I can get to work, and we will see you in next week's video. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us, and I can't wait to show you next week's video with drywall up and finished and it looking like an actual house.